So
That's amazing. One thing which I really want to, understand that you've always been part of growth stage products, right? Which have been exponentially growing, be it Flipkart, be it Flipkart Wholesale, be it Razorpay, and now be it Google for the cloud business. But in terms of maturity of the organization, right? Razorpay is a company which has grown tremendously. It is still growing tremendously, and I was late. A growing startup, right? Alphabet is now a very mature organization. Mm-hmm. So in terms of design, how do you what's the difference when you look at a growth stage product at both organizations, but the level of maturity of those organizations is pretty much different. How, if it is different, how? Like in what way?
Okay. Well, very good and interesting question, because this is one thing that concerned me as well as a designer, right? While moving towards from an enterprise company to a startup, or a startup to vice versa, right? So there are subtle differences in both of these. Like I would not say Google as an enterprise. I would just categorize this as an enterprise versus a startup.
In terms of maturity of the organization, what we're talking about.
So when you say maturity, do you mean the maturity of the design team, or do you mean?
I would say maturity in terms of processes, also of design. Like that's what you can define your own maturity.
Sure.
It's probably you can add any perspective you want to. But I am probably my starting point would be in terms of processes, right? In Razorpay, as you said, you are actually thrown into the pool and then you swim through these are the metrics, etc., etc. And is it the same as in Google?
Yeah, pretty much. I would say, at least I can speak for Google. My experience so far. Google is a company which really allows you to sort of go beyond that employee label.
Mm-hmm. That hierarchy.
Yeah, you are actually an employee to Google, but you are a Googler or a Noogler, right? What that means is that you sort of nobody's actually telling you to do something. You just do it because you see it, and you're sort of hired to do it for the company, right? And plus you develop this kind of bond with the company where you want to do it more than anything, right? Like companies like Google and Flipkart. Sorry, if I will say Flipkart, maybe you can cut down on post-production.
So Flipkart hasn't gone out of you, right?
Yeah. So companies like Microsoft and Google, right? They sort of have this that. They give you that space, that 20% that you can try something of your own, right? A project, you want to improve something. Even if I'm not a part of your team, right? Let's say two different products. Like let's say I'm just talking about right now. But let's say Xbox or Azure, right? You work for Azure, I'm for Xbox, right? Me as a designer can reach out to you and tell you that, hey, I think that this can be better. What do you think? And this is your product. I'm not even a part of your product, right? But this does not. There's no boundary here. Similarly in Google as well, there's no boundaries. I can sort of reach to another Googler and ask them to collaborate, or ask them to sort of work on something, or to get insights on, or get their opinion on something, right? Then I think that is what is a maturity that when you work for a company like this brings on board, right? But pretty much similarly, like all the rest of the things are the same. Like your design process, a product will be different and your user audience will be different, but primarily things remain the same, right? But I would like to say, in terms of design processes, some of the companies want things really fast, okay, we have to build an app, this should get done in 3 days. That is the expectations of some companies. I'm not naming any company because I've never experienced that, but I've heard, right? But the outcomes sort of happen because they don't have that research. They sometimes it's just going off from other people's ideas or building on top of it, right? So it really pretty much depends upon where the company is and what level that stage startups are, right? But that is the only difference that I see. But pretty much in terms of processes, I feel that it's pretty much.
Do you think there's more stakeholder management at enterprises?
No, I don't think so. I think when you say stakeholder management, you mean for an individual, for
a designer, for example, you building something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't get your question there. Yeah, absolutely. But that happens in the startup as well. Like if to be honest, like in Flipkart, we probably would meet once a week with the director of product, right? And he would sort of not go through each and granular of the design, but would try to understand what we're doing and how we sort of convince him of we're working on a project together. So I think that stakeholder management comes even in a Flipkart or even in the multinational like Google. Right? That would come. But I think personally, I like that because designers, some of them at least, like are very expressive. They like to talk and they like to express what are the thoughts behind their design and the rationale behind the design, right? and that's your platform to do that. So I like that.